Good evening and welcome to the September 3rd meeting of the Richmond Common Council. This meeting is called to order. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a prayer by Councilor Burkhart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Father, I thank you for being with us tonight and gathering all of us here. We gather this evening in service not to serve ourselves, but to serve our community. We do this with humility, compassion, and discernment. So tonight, let's remember that we serve you, we serve our community, and let's do it with the love of our neighbor. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Doug Goss, Lucinda Wright,
Present.
Bill Engel.
Here.
Larry Parker.
Here.
Ann Taylor.
Here.
Gary Turner.
Here.
Jane Bumbelow.
Here.
Justin Burkhart.
Here.
And Jerry Purcell.
Here.
8 are present.
Thank you. Councilor Goss is ill tonight and has an excused absence. Okay. Our minutes to the August 19th meeting were in your packet. Any concerns, questions, or corrections there?
Mr. President,
Mr. Parker.
if there are no additions or corrections, I move for approval of the August 19th meeting as received.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve our August 19th minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have no presentations of petitions or memorials, et cetera, tonight, so we'll go right to communications from the mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll keep this short because I have comments about the budget tonight when we get to that. Just a quick update information. You'll be seeing a flyer about this probably tomorrow. We're planning a Main Street reopening block party on Main Street, Friday, September 13th from 5 to 8 p.m., down between 9th and 10th Street. So it'll be open to the public. There'll be free food from all the restaurants and bakeries downtown. There'll be door prizes from other businesses in the downtown area too. Fun, prizes, other stuff to do, so it should be a really good turnout. So Friday, September 13th, 5 to 8, all the public's invited and until we run out of food. That's it.
That's it. Any questions for the mayor? Okay. You received minutes from the Board of Public Works for August 15th and August 8th. Any questions about those? None? Okay. We don't have any reports from departments tonight, but under miscellaneous business, we have two matters to consider. First being contract 158, 2024. And this was referred to finance for review at our last meeting. Did you guys discuss this?
We have not met since the last meeting.
Okay, so it stands there then.
Yes.
That takes us to the planning plan.
Hello,
Hello. Good evening.
my name's Thomas Hill and I'm the GIS coordinator.
I'm Laura Carnes. I'm the landscape and naturalist leader for the Parks Department and ISA certified arborist.
And thank you for letting us present a little bit on the update to the Environmental Resilience Institute grant funding that we applied for earlier this year. This is through IU in partnership with the McKinney Fellow, Climate Fellow program. If you remember back in fall, Allison Zadel presented for a grant opportunity to join a cohort for the Urban Green Infrastructure, which is a new cohort through IU, but part of the ERI that we've been a part of several years running. This was an opportunity to receive about $150,000, which included work with one climate fellow, 100 trees to be planted, the planting of them, and tree maintenance for up to 3 years, including a tree management plan and a ton of new tree data, which is pretty exciting for me.
So we started working with IU at the beginning of the year, and our McKinney Climate Fellow, Rania Jamal, arrived in May and worked here in the city building over the summer. She was given multiple assignments and tasks from IU on a weekly basis in order to make this project happen at the really rapid rate that it was going. So she worked on tree and land cover data. She made a lot of really amazing maps with this data. She also was heavily involved in community engagement throughout the city, and then planning for our November 9th planting event. So that is the day that we are going to be working with a contractor to get these trees in the ground, but we also want to make it a really fun event for the neighborhoods and the residents. So we're hoping to make it kind of like a block party for this tree planting event, and looking at the hosting site being Hibbard at this time.
So we're just going to give you a quick overview of some of the maps and data we produced. So this first one is a land cover analysis. You can see the boundary of the city of Richmond, including 5 different types of land cover. Sorry, it's all over on this screen. I forgot you didn't have one over there. It's a little small. I have all these maps that I'm happy to share out to anyone who wants to see them, and I'm happy to talk about them. So this one shows us all the different categories: bare soil, grass, and low-lying vegetation, impervious surfaces, so think buildings, roads, concrete, open water, and the existing tree canopy in dark green. So this data was provided by Davie Resource Group, and that was the basis for the map that you're now looking at, which is the priority planting matrix, which was a big portion of Rania's first half of her summer here. So she took sociodemographic data, heat island data, and a couple of other smaller data sets to score them and produce a priority for where we should be planting new trees as we both remove and continue to grow our tree program. So it's worth noting, you saw this had the whole city. This one's kind of cut down into, I think, 5 census tracts. They're the DAC census tracts. That's what we're eligible for work through this particular grant program.
So can you tell us what's the priority?
Yes, so green in there,
Okay.
sorry, skipping over the fun part. The green in there is our very low priority, going through to purpley, pinkish is our very high priority.
Thank you.
Yes. So looking back at that map, we zoomed into 3 different areas which we noticed had the highest volume of very high and high priority areas. So now we're just kind of zooming in throughout Rania's time here. She had to produce an area that she wanted to target, and that's where some of her community engagement efforts were specifically targeted. And we chose that blue chunk, which is the majority of the south portion of town, to be our focus for this particular project. And what you're viewing right now is actually the proposed planting site for 100 trees. This one is pretty cool because we got to bring in some other data sets to help prioritize within our priority zone, which included population density and population. So we're trying to reach as many citizens and help as many citizens in the efforts that we're doing as we can in one project. So this is all located down in the south portion, and these will be where the 100 trees are going to be planted on November 9th. Anyone have any questions about any of the maps?
Any questions? Folks?
I got a question.
Barker?
Where are these trees gonna be planted? Are they in the sod line of between the street and the sidewalk, or where are they?
That's a great question. So we were looking at public and private land, and the focus of this is going to be in the right-of-way strips, known as the tree lawns.
And are these trees specific that they will not be the ones that raise the sidewalks up, or are they just welcome to life trees?
So another project that Thomas and I are working on for Street Tree Commission is redoing the preferred planting list for trees for the city. And the way that we're going about that is putting the right size tree in the right size tree lawn. So there'll be small, medium, and large trees based on how wide the tree lawn is. So we are choosing the appropriate trees for the width of the lawns that are there.
So you're using different species for different places, is that what you're saying?
Yes. We have about 10 different species in these 100 trees.
All right, thank you.
Mr. President.
Any other questions?
Mr. President.
I thought you were pointing to someone else. Mr. Barker?
Maybe you've addressed this already, and my apologies if you have. Are you working in collaboration with the Street Tree Commission? Are they aware? From a personal perspective, in our neighborhood, sometimes there's confusion as to the Street Tree Commission and what their authorities are, but so that they're looped into this and aware.
Yeah, absolutely. So both of us are members of the Street Tree Commission.
Oh, excellent.
So
Okay.
that's some more context that I think we'll be presenting later on down this year. We've got some new exciting things coming up. Yes, so they were informed from the very beginning and have helped shape Rania's work here with the city too.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Well, thank you very much. That was very enlightening.
We have one more tidbit, sorry.
Sorry.
Just to mention some of the partners that we have worked with throughout this project. The Boys and Girls Club has been a really great partner. We've went to several pickup, and we've created a survey with Lindsay asking people about trees. We've been to the farmers market several times, and I've been in contact with the principal of Hibbard and is really excited about potentially doing something for Earth Day or Arbor Day this year with the STEM kids all throughout Richmond Community Schools. So I think the opportunity for partnerships, and these are also all partners that are in the high priority areas. So we're really trying to connect with the people in these neighborhoods and figure out what's going to work best for them.
One last slide to wrap it up.
So I mentioned our November 9th planting event, and it would be wonderful if we could get everyone involved and make it a really fun day to get these trees in the ground for the city. Another exciting note, so we found out last week that after a couple times of applying, we were awarded funding from the Indiana Community Urban Forestry Office. And this was part of the Inflation Reduction Act funding. There was $1.5 billion that went into urban forestry, which is really the first time ever that this amount of money has been spent on urban forestry. So, yeah, it's a really exciting new chapter in our urban forestry program. We will have a complete inventory of all the trees and available planting sites in Richmond. And then we'll be continuing to plant over 100 trees in addition to the 100 that we're planting with IU. And then we'll be getting a tree keeper inventory software management program for 3 years, which will allow us to be able to track better the tree removals and planting that we're doing, and also the maintenance that will come along with that. And then there'll be some high-risk tree removal funding included in the grant, and some professional development and training, hoping to get at least a couple more certified arborists taking care of the trees in Richmond and qualified to do the work that we're doing.
Exciting new chapter for trees in Richmond.
Fantastic.
I like it.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Okay, ordinance on first reading.
Mr. President, Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules and read by title only. Ordinance number 33, 2024, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 47, 49, 50, 52, and 53, 2024.
Second.
Did I hear a second?
Second right here.
We have a motion and a second to read all of our ordinances on first reading by title only. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Ordinance number 33, 2024, an appropriation ordinance to be known as the 2025 budget.
Good evening, Council, Council President.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Ordinance 33, 2024 is the 2025 budget ordinance. The 2025 budget will be advertised on Gateway as required by the Department of Local Government Finance on September the 9th. This will provide the 10-day in advance publication requirement for a public hearing. The budget cannot be formally passed until 10 days following the public hearing. And I believe the mayor has some comments.
Thank you. Thank you for those dates. So it's critically important. The two government agencies that oversee the city finance, State Board of Accounts does all the auditing. In fact, we're in the middle of an audit right now, aren't we, for 2023? State Board of Accounts audits the cities and towns and Department of Local Government and Finance approves our budgets or makes adjustments to them. But I have a few comments to make, if I may, Mr. President, about this year's budget. It's exciting to sit on this side of the table after having sat up there for more than a decade and work on a city budget. I'm incredibly proud of the budget the administration assembled for 2025. In light of losses from the property tax circuit breakers, we were able to prioritize spending on essential areas of local government with public safety at the top of the list, while finally increasing non-union employee salaries by 4%. But we still have a long way to go with them to make up for 12 years when there were no pay increases for civilian employees. It all started when Hoosiers voted in 2007 for fewer services from local units of government, i.e. cities and counties, through the property tax cap constitutional amendment. Prior to the cap, Richmond averaged 1.57% property taxes on owner-occupied or homestead properties. The law capped that at 1%, which cut revenue by more than $3 million for the first year. Voters may not have realized it at the time, but they chose for Richmond and similar cities to receive less money each year to fight blight, less money for parks, less money for improved roads and streets, and less money to support even first responders. The city responded by reducing the number of staff in almost every department, along with divesting of 3 parks recently, including Berryfield, Swicker Park, and McBride Stadium. And it also slowed the improvements of sanitary and storm sewers. Since 2008, the city has foregone about $100 million due to the circuit breaker. Other cities have taken on mounds of debt in response, the largest being the city of Carmel with over $1 billion in debt. For Richmond, the Parks bond was paid off last year and new debt was not issued during the time of administrative transitions. Next year's budget includes some monies for the park's capital improvements, as you know, but nothing close to their $10 million wish list. Since taking the office of mayor, it has come to my attention that several important properties are showing signs of long-term deferred maintenance to the point where several new structures need to be built. From buildings in the Parks Department to fire stations to City Hall, all are showing signs of deferred maintenance issues that become more costly every year. For example, the Freedom Fountain right out here in front of City Hall has not been operational for years, but the cost to restore it or remove it is even greater than 2 years of police car purchases. That's why it sits idle. The city continues to spend money patching the roof of City Hall just above your heads because replacing it is simply not in the budget. One of the fire stations needs to be totally replaced at a cost of $8 to $10 million sooner rather than later. The police garage is in need of a new structure for its forthcoming Bearcat and other SWAT equipment at a cost of maybe around $2 million. There's not been a hard quote on that yet. Several buildings in Glen Miller Park, including a new band shell, would make an incredible difference in the quality of that park, likely in the $10 to $15 million range. Last month, due to the constant rain this summer and constant grass mowing, we had to find more dollars for code enforcement to mow both right-of-ways and nuisance properties. Furthermore, the entire US 35, Williamsburg Pike, Northwest 5th, and Southwest 5th corridor from I-70 to US 40 is well past due for a complete rebuild, but where to find the millions of dollars to do that? Some cities and counties have enacted new taxes, food and beverage, will taxes, public safety, etc., to rebalance their budgets. However, Wayne County and the city of Richmond have not adopted any new taxes, and it's really up to the county and city officials, really up to the county and city council members to decide whether or not those are needed to restore essential services in our community to where it was before the tax caps, along with any quality of life activities such as improving parks, sidewalks, and more blight elimination. Just so you know, I meet with the mayor's counterpart at the county on a regular basis, even this afternoon, the full-time commissioner. And I would recommend city councilors develop the same practice with their fellow county councilors, especially to share ideas how they can find new funds for first responders and other essential services. Thank you.
Thank you. I will be assigning ordinance 33 to the Finance Committee for review.
Ordinance number 34, 2024, an appropriation ordinance fixing the annual compensation of all elected city officers for 2025.
Good evening again.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Ordinance 34, 2024 is a salary ordinance setting the salary for all elected officials. The proposed salaries include a 4% pay increase for the city and a 3% increase from RP&L.
Thank you. I will assign this to the Finance Committee as well.
Ordinance 35, 2024, an appropriation ordinance to be known as the 2025 salary ordinance.
And again. Ordinance 35, 2024 is a salary ordinance setting the salaries for civilian employees. This ordinance includes both union and non-union employees. All union position salaries are set at levels agreed upon in the applicable collective bargaining agreements. There will be a 4% increase for non-union employees in 2025.
Ordinance 35 is assigned to Finance for review.
Ordinance number 36, 2024, an ordinance authorizing the annual compensation and benefits of Richmond police officers.
Ordinance 36, 2024 sets the base salary for ranks within the Richmond Police Department. All union position salaries are set at levels agreed upon in the applicable collective bargaining agreements.
Ordinance 36 is assigned to Finance for review.
Ordinance number 37, 2024, an appropriation ordinance to be known as the Sanitary District 2025 Salary Ordinance.
Ordinance 37, 2025 is a salary ordinance for the Richmond Sanitary District. This ordinance includes both union and non-union employees. All union position salaries are set at levels agreed upon in the applicable collective bargaining agreements. There will be a 4% pay increase for non-union employees in 2025.
Ordinance 37 is assigned to Finance for review.
Ordinance number 38, 2024, an ordinance authorizing the annual compensation and benefits of Richmond firefighters.
Ordinance 38, 2024 sets, or should be 2025, sets the base salary for ranks within the Richmond Fire Department. The proposed base salaries include a 4.5% increase as a provision as it is offered to the collective bargaining unit during the negotiation process. At this time, this offer has not been accepted.
Ordinance 38 is assigned to Finance for review.
Amended ordinance number 47, 2024, an appropriation ordinance on amending the 2024 budget.
Is that
For
your
the
file
clerk's
cabinet?
office, yes, it is.
We've already denied it once.
It's a biggie.
More,
I overlooked $110 that had already been spent, so we had to move it to another category. It's the same amount of money, just,
Do we need to send that to Finance?
No.
Do we possibly?
please don't.
Yeah, we've already given the grace the first time.
All right, good deal. Well, then this ordinance, if provided somebody makes the motion, will go on public hearing.
Mr. President, suspend the rules and advance ordinance 47, 2024 to second reading, read by title only.
Second.
Ordinance number 47 is now in public hearing. All of you out there in the audience wishing to speak for this ordinance, please rush forward.
It's a biggie.
They're waiting for the.
Anyone wishing to speak against it, please rush forward.
Move for engrossment.
second.
We have a motion and a second to engross this ordinance. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Second.
Just a minute. Lucinda Wright.
Aye.
Bill Hingle.
Aye.
Barry Parker.
Aye.
Ann Taylor.
Aye.
Jane Bumblew.
Aye.
Justin Burkhart.
Aye.
Jerry Purcell.
Aye.
Gary Turner.
Aye.
8 are in favor. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
Give her her cabinet.
Yeah, really.
Those must be special cabinets.
They're just so we don't have to kick the doors to open it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ordinance number 49, 2024, a special ordinance authorizing the approval of a statement of benefits for a property owner applying for deductions under Indiana Code 6.1-12.1.
Without Mr. Goss here, we really won't have an explanation of this until he's had it before tax abatement. So I'm simply going to assign it to the Tax Abatement Committee for review.
Ordinance number 50, 2024, a special ordinance authorizing the approval of a statement of benefits for a property owner applying for deductions under Indiana Code 6.1-12.1.
And ordinance number 50 is also assigned to the Tax Abatement Committee.
Ordinance number 52, 2024, an appropriation ordinance authorizing the submittal, acceptance, and appropriation of a grant from the Partnership for a Drug-Free Wayne County.
Good evening, Mr. President.
Good evening.
Council members.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Ordinance 52, 2024 is a grant submitted to the Partnership for Drug-Free Wayne County for $4,130. The money would be spent on canine equipment, training for handler and canine, medical expenses for canines, and the purchase of educational materials to be distributed during public presentations on the purpose of canines. So I believe the Richmond Police Department has had a partnership with Drug Free Wayne County for quite some time. And we want to continue that partnership with them and use those funds to also provide education to the public.
Any questions for the chief? This will be assigned to finance for review.
Mr. President, when is this grant needed? Is there a date on it that it has to be submitted by?
So the grant has already been submitted, and we have been awarded the funds. The funds are actually available in the next week or so, but we can wait for second reading. That way we can talk to the Finance Committee. If they have additional questions, I can answer those.
If we've already got the money, what difference does it make?
But we don't have the money yet.
I think it's Thursday.
Is it
I think
Thursday?
it's at the partnership meeting. I think we're doing the awards at the next partnership meeting.
And I'm willing to answer questions now if we want
It's
to.
either this Thursday or I know.
Some
it's
have
this.
already come in the mail.
Yeah, some have come in
Some
the
of
mail
them
and
have
some are
already
going to be
come in the mail.
presented at the next meeting.
Why don't we approve it?
Let's just go ahead and approve it.
Prove it.
Make a motion.
So moved.
Do we have to go to second reading first?
Make a motion to suspend the rules in advance for ordinance 52, 2024 to second reading, read by title only.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Ordinance number 52, 2024, an appropriation ordinance authorizing the submittal, acceptance, and appropriation of a grant from the Partnership for a Drug-Free Wayne County.
This ordinance is on public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak for this ordinance, please come forward. Anyone wishing to speak against this ordinance, please come forward.
Move for engrossment.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to engross this ordinance. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Somebody has to call for the question.
Call the question.
Second.
You're right.
Just trying to keep you on track.
Thank you.
Lucinda Wright,
Aye.
Bill Engel,
Aye.
Larry Parker.
Aye.
Ann Taylor.
Aye.
Jane Bumbelow.
Aye.
Justin Burkhart.
Aye.
Jerry Purcell.
I'll abstain.
Okay, and Gary Turner.
Aye.
7 are in favor.
Thank you.
Let's see, 53, 2024, a general ordinance amending the Richmond City Code, Section 30.12.
Is any,
Mr. President, I met with Doug Goss on this a couple of weeks ago because this involves comments from the mayor.
Okay.
You want to hold it till he's back so he can
Yes.
discuss it. This is his ordinance. He wrote it.
all right.
Okay,
That's 53.
Yes, it's 53.
ordinance is on second reading.
Ma'am.
Ordinance number 26, 2024, an ordinance establishing a fire merit commission.
Would you like me to address this, Mr.
Yes,
President?
please.
As you are aware, this particular ordinance has been tabled for some time to allow the Public Safety Committee to address various matters with the E-Board of the Fire Departments Union. And we have recently learned, and Ms. Bumbelow can speak to this as well, that they are requesting that this ordinance be denied at this time. And again, just as a procedural reminder, there was legislation that was passed that said that if council and the union do nothing, then a fire merit commission will automatically be required at the beginning of 2025. However, if this council determines that it wanted to vote down the ordinance establishing a fire merit commission, and then at the following meeting, the law also says you have to pass a resolution that is similar in substance, then that would be transmitted to the union for a vote before the Board of Works, and if the union were to likewise vote this down, then there would be no fire merit commission in 2025. The reasoning for that, as I understand the request, is that there are, and this is accurate, there are a lot of moving parts to a fire merit commission, and the union is wanting more time so that it can do its due diligence and not put the proverbial cart before the horse. They want to make sure all the homework's done so that it's done correctly the first time. So again, I'll defer to Ms. Bumbelow, but that's my understanding of the union's position.
Well, I'm satisfied with that explanation. Any questions for AJ? What's the pleasure of the council?
Well, some of this I may reiterate, but I have a
nothing.
statement that I'm going
okay.
to read. It says, "The Public Safety Committee has met on 2 separate occasions and consulted with the Fire Department Union's Executive Board. After carefully considering all the pertinent issues, it is recommended of the Public Safety Committee that this ordinance be rejected so the resolution rejecting a merit commission may be considered by the union membership. The union has expressed a desire for additional time to develop the policies and procedures of the Merit Commission, and the ordinance establishing a Merit Commission will again be considered next year. I also have spoken with Chief Kinder and Assistant Chief Clark, and they have expressed understanding and support for the union's request with the understanding that it will come back at the beginning of next year."
I'd like to make a motion.
And we make a motion, or a recommendation is to, strike it. Thank you.
I'll take that as a motion. Do I hear a second? I have a motion and a second to strike ordinance 26, 2024. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Ordinance 48, 2024, excuse me, an appropriation ordinance authorizing the submittal, acceptance, and appropriation of a grant from the Indiana Department of Environmental Management, CRGP grant funds.
Here we go.
Pat.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out who's going to speak to this.
Good evening, Council. Pat Smoker of the Sanitary District.
Good evening.
Hi, Pat.
Good evening.
We discussed this, the last meeting on first reading. This is a grant that is up to $100,000, and that is what the Sanitary District will be requesting. There is a 25% match. We do have the $25,000 in our funds that were earmarked specifically for this grant, the potential to apply for this grant.
So this would not have been heard in finance.
This was not heard, as we have not met, but I'm unaware of any deadline that's pending.
Friday. However, we still have the ability to pull or reject that later if council should choose not to do that at whatever 2 weeks from now, if we meet.
Pull or reject the,
Yeah, I mean, just, pull our submittal.
okay. Well, I don't want to kick us out of the opportunity.
That's what I thought you were getting
Yeah.
at. So go ahead
Yeah.
and file your application.
Okay, okay.
Right.
Ordinance number 51, 2024, an appropriation ordinance amending ordinance number 33-23, known as the 2024 salary ordinance.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm winging this because I didn't know I was doing this because Finance Committee didn't happen. So
Can't hear you.
I wasn't prepared. I didn't know we were doing this since Finance Committee didn't happen, but here we go. This appropriation is going to, it's going to add 1 new position because of 2 positions, one in the mayor's, one in the mayor's office, the city engineer, and then the director of code enforcement have been eliminated through attrition, and so we're creating a new position that's going to combine the 2. We are adding in a new position that was created in January in the police department, so this is just housekeeping, cleaning up the salary ordinance and fixing a couple of salary ranges that were not appropriate. They've been rescored. And then correcting an error that I made on the administration officers in the fire department.
Finance still needs to review this.
Yes, I would like finance to be able to have opportunity.
So, unfortunately, we won't act on it tonight.
Thank you.
I'll be more prepared at finance.
Okay.
I don't think we have any unfinished business, so I'll call for an adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
You are watching Whitewater Government Television, WGTV, Channel 11, part of the Whitewater Community Television family of stations.
Good evening, and welcome to the board meeting for the Richmond Power and Light for Tuesday, September the 3rd, 2024. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Doug Goss, Lucinda Wright,
Present.
Bill Engel.
Here.
Larry Parker.
Here.
Ann Taylor.
Here.
Gary Turner.
Here.
Jane Bumbelow.
Here.
Justin Burkhart.
Here.
And Jerry Purcell.
Here.
8 are present.
Thank you. Next, we have approval of the minutes.
Madam Chairman,
Yes, sir.
if there are no additions or corrections, I move for approval of the minutes of August the 5th, 2024, as received.
Second.
I have a
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have the bills to be approved.
Madam Chairman,
Yes, sir.
Finance Committee has approved the bills, has reviewed the bills and asked for approval of $9,199,064.85.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second to approve the amount of $9,199,064.85. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Any unfinished business? Next, we have the report by the general manager.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Tony.
The first item on our agenda this evening is a request to award the bid on a new or current model year self-loading reel trailer for the line department as previously budgeted. We did have one bid that we opened last month. It does meet specifications. It is within budget. So we are asking you to consider awarding the bid to Sauber Manufacturing Company from Virgil, Illinois, in the amount of $22,947.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And the budget for this item was $27,000. The next item on the agenda is to open bids on a new 2024 or current model year mid-size pickup for the engineering department as previously budgeted for the 2024, as previously budgeted in the 2024 capital budget. We did have as an alternate bid a full-size pickup truck. We do know the mid-size pickups are sometimes hard to get. We do have a couple of bids. I'll open those if that's okay.
Okay.
Looks like this first one is from Let's Go Ford for a 2024 Ford Ranger in the amount of $38,911 with a 12 to 16 week delivery date. Quote B is also, looks like it's from Wetzel Ford. This is for a 2024 Ford F-150 in the amount of $44,430, and delivery date is 12 to 16 weeks. So they just put the alternate bid as a separate bid package, it looks like. So we would request to be able to take these under advisement and come back with a recommendation.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to refer these for tabulation, evaluation, and recommendation. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The third item on the agenda is the approval of the quarterly ECA. It's already that time again. The ECA does increase slightly by, and don't ask me to say what this is in thousands, but it's
Oh, my God.
0.00459 cents per kilowatt hour. So basically, the ECA is currently 0.01579 cents per kilowatt hour. It would be going up very slightly to 0.016178 for residential. I guess the easiest way to look at is to look at the chart. The ECA did drop from second quarter to third quarter, and in essence, it is remaining flat moving into the fourth quarter. And I would entertain any questions that you would have. Also, as a reminder, the ECA information after the RP&L Board approves it is published in the legal section of the Western Wayne News, so it is always out there for everyone else to see and be notified as well.
All right, thank you. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the ECA rates for the fourth quarter of 2024. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And then on the educational front tonight, if we have a few minutes, especially since it's been so hot and sunny, it's a good time to do our annual solar update. I had someone sticking around to hear this tonight, but you go on.
Thomas?
So, anyway, I give this update every year because things do change from year to year. But I'm going to give a little background first. So you remember this from Back to the Future when Doc says, 1.21 gigawatts, what is that, and Michael J. Fox says, what the heck is a gigawatt? So anyway, the reason I'm saying all that is because tonight we're going to be talking about some different units of measure. A watt is what is being used when electricity is being used. So you've seen a 100-watt light bulb or 20-watt light bulb. But what we're going to be talking about tonight first will be kilowatts, and this will be for the residential solar. So 1 kilowatt equals 1,000 watts. And then when we get to the IMPA solar parks, we're talking about megawatts. And 1 megawatt equals 1,000 kilowatts. So first I'm going to talk about customer-generated solar. And there are two types of customer-generated solar. There are net metered customers and purchase power agreement customers. So first we'll talk about net metered customers. These are customers that have a system that produces less than 10 kilowatts. And the reason it's called net metered is because they get a direct credit on their bill for the solar generated at the retail rate for the excess power placed on the grid or that is produced. We have 13 active residential net metered solar installations. The last system to go active was June of 2022, and that is correct. It's been 2 years since we've added a net metered system. There's been a lot of changes in the residential solar industry. Some of the companies that were out front with this early on have gone out of business. So this is has slowed down dramatically. So right now we have approximately 105 kilowatts of demand being generated by these residential solar net metered customers. The other type of customer solar is purchase power agreement solar. So the difference is these are for systems that produce more than 10 kilowatts. So this excess power, that is, if there's excess power generated and put back onto the grid, that power is purchased by IMPA. So IMPA, as you know, is who supplies all of Richmond's power. IMPA does purchase that from these customers. We are not involved in that transaction at all. The 2024 purchase price, if you are selling back to IMPA, is currently 3.8 cents per kilowatt hour. So here's a chart just showing where that compares to some of the other utilities in Indiana, and IMPA's purchase price is right in line with the IOUs or the investor-owned utilities at 3.8 cents per kilowatt hour this year. This rate does fluctuate from year to year based upon energy prices. As you can see in 2023, that rate was dramatically more. It was at 8.9 cents per kilowatt hour. So when customers are looking at purchased power agreement solar installations, we do not give recommendations or advise, but what we can tell them is they need to really make sure they understand that this rate does fluctuate from year to year, and so it's to not base your payback based upon a good year like 2023 was, for example.
Do we have any of these?
We do. We currently have 7 active purchase power systems. 3 of those are residential. 4 of those are non-residential. The last system to go online was actually in July of this year, and we have approximately 180 kilowatts of generation on purchase power agreements currently. Do you have any questions on customer solar before I move on to the next part of solar? Okay. The next part, I'm going to talk about the solar parks in Richmond that we see all over town, and these are owned, operated, maintained by IMPA. And again, IMPA is the Indiana Municipal Power Agency who supplies our power here in Richmond. What's unique about these solar fields in Richmond is that they are connected directly to our substations. All the power generated here stays here. They feed our substations, so it is legit. Some days providing customers 100% green energy, and we'll talk a little bit about that here in a moment. So there are currently 7 completed solar parks in Richmond, and they currently generate around a little over 40 megawatts of power. As you've probably seen, the 8th solar park, which is on National Road West, out by the U-Haul building, is currently under construction. Due to, I have here finished fourth quarter, that's their target, but they're having some supply chain issues, so chances are it's not going to come online until first quarter 2025. But when that happens, the total solar capacity within our city will be about almost 47 megawatts. So what does that mean? Currently, an average day like today, our daily load would be about 130 megawatts. So with the 7 solar parks, and it's a completely blue sky day with no clouds, those solar panels will be producing about 31% of our power at peak. When solar park number 8 is finished, solar can potentially generate 36% of our power during peak sunlight hours. So in 2023, those solar parks here in Richmond produced 59,516,689 kilowatt hours of energy. The total amount of power that we sold in 2023 was 858,011,000 kilowatt hours. So those solar panels produced 6.9% of our power in 2023. Not to confuse things, again, those panels directly feed our substations. So a lot of people ask, well, when the solar isn't producing, like at night, what's the makeup of our fuel for our electricity in Richmond? Well, IMPA's fuel mix for 2023 was 60.4% coal, 19.9% nuclear, 9.5% natural gas, and renewables are up to 10.2. Those renewables do include these community solar projects like we have. They also include contracted renewable projects such as a wind farm that produces 150 megawatts and a very large solar installation. I believe it's a 200 megawatt field that IMPA has contracted for as well. So that plays into that renewable mix. If you ever wanted to see how the solar is producing in Richmond, if you go to our website, under Safety and Education, there is a link for solar power, and that link will take you to all the solar parks in Richmond and show you how they are producing, how much power they're producing, how many homes on average that would take care of when the sun is shining. So it's kind of an interesting, and we did not produce that. That is a direct link to IMPA's website. And we do have permission to link there just to show folks how much power is being generated there. So I think that's it on solar. Do you have any questions for me on solar in Richmond this evening? Okay. Last thing is a friendly reminder that we will have a special board meeting on Tuesday, November 12th at 6 p.m. here in the council chambers to review the 2025 budget for Richmond Power and Light. I know that's a few months away, but I just wanted to get it on everybody's calendar so that we don't forget, because I know you guys love hanging out with me when we go over the budget. And that's all I've got tonight, unless you have any questions for me.
No, but I do want to say thank you so much for the educational pieces. I really look forward to them.
Great.
And I appreciate. All right. We don't have any new business. Would someone like to make a motion to adjourn?
Move for adjournment.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.
Thank you, thank
We
you.
all have to sign.
You are watching Whitewater Government Television, WGTV, Channel 11, part of the Whitewater Community Television family of stations.